I worked at a McDonald's when I was in high school. I've been in admin jobs. I've been in accounts receivable jobs. I've been receptionist. I've been executive assistant, talent agent, a paralegal, and I've always been fascinated in running my own business. And now looking back, yes, every little thing that I've done has definitely led to this.
Are you ready to quit your 9 to 5 job and start a business of your own? Well, you're in the right place, my friend. Welcome to the Second Act Success podcast. I am your host, Shannon Russell, and my mission is to help you produce your best life. This podcast will teach you how to get from where you are now to where you want to be, and how to build a business that fits your life and lights you up. Let's get started. Hey there, welcome back to the Second Act Success podcast. I will be chatting today with Francesca Stone, the founder of 9 to 5 Mom with a Pod, a podcast and consulting platform that teaches mom content creators how to launch their personal brands and grow with purpose. Fran talks about pivoting her career over the years. She worked as a talent agent and then as a paralegal. And then she decided when she had her little girl that she wanted to go all in on podcasting and being an entrepreneur. Here she is. Let's dive into my conversation with Francesca Stone. Francesca Stone, welcome to Second Act Success.
Thank you so much for having me here, Shannon. I know we talked a lot in the pre-interview.
I know, we could just talk all day.
We really could just talk all day, and we have to get together for lunch. Sorry, you go on.
I know. We say that all the time. We really need
know.
to. We're so close. We're like an hour away. So we will do
So
that.
close,
I
so
know.
close.
Well, let's get started. We have a lot of things aligned in our past, the entertainment industry, being from California, all of those things. But why don't you start by telling us where your career began?
Oh my goodness. It's a whole story, but to keep it light and short, I was a licensed talent agent. So I lived in Florida. Then I moved to California because of that position.
Yeah.
And then I decided that I didn't want to do it anymore. It was a little stressful. I was constantly on call. I never had time off. I was at an age where I really wanted to explore and travel. And, and my job just didn't allow me to do that. So then I said, okay, let me just put this aside. Maybe if I get like a regular career, it would be a lot better. But I kind of like contracts. I love everything law related. So the closest thing that I could think of, well, I guess I could just start being a paralegal. And that sort of set the stage for me to be able to go out and travel with my husband, enjoy a little bit of life. Before that, I had like no life. It was like 24/7 on call. So it was fine. I was very ambitious and career driven. I changed that for that purpose. And then when I became a paralegal, I just loved it so much because I did employment law, employment discrimination, retaliation. And I worked with a lot of production companies, and it was a law firm in Beverly Hills. So I loved working there, and I just stayed there and I made a career out of it. And I thought for sure that's what I was going to do forever. I was going to be a civil litigation paralegal. I made a career out of it, speaking engagements, the whole thing. Everything was wonderful. But then I had my daughter, and maybe a lot of people can relate to this, where you are just want a career change. You're a career change for your life, for your lifestyle. In this particular case, for my daughter. And I was stuck in the disability insurance space where they wouldn't pay me for I didn't get paid maternity leave, but you had to be in the whole disability insurance for you to even get paid for that time off that you're not even working. Anyway, that sort of opened my eyes of like, well, I don't have freedom. I don't have a say. And I'm just in a wheelhouse and constantly just kind of running and running and running, and I'm not getting anywhere. I don't want to do this anymore. I still love it, but I just wanted something more fulfilling, something that I created. So then I had this like amazing idea of starting a podcast about being a paralegal. It was going to be called The Good Paralegal. That one flopped because there was no market for it. And by the way, for context, I was not a podcaster. This was not my industry before. So the idea of starting a podcast was like left. Like, I don't know what even inspired that. Like, oh yeah, let me start a podcast and see if that works. Don't know why. It was just a moment. I was like, maybe I should just try something different, see if it clicks. If it doesn't, if I don't like it, then it is what it is. Anyway, the first podcast flopped. And the second podcast was with me and my friend. And I said to her, hey, would you like to come on and we'll talk about entertainment, lifestyle, pop culture, that sort of thing. She said yes, but after first few episodes, she was leaving on maternity leave, going back to nursing school, and she also did not really like the podcasting arena, which I understand.
Yeah, it's not for
But
everyone.
then it left me, sitting down between 7 to 9 months, just thinking, what am I going to do? Because I started to like it, which was the
Yeah.
weirdest thing. I was like, oh, I actually really like podcasting. I kind of enjoy it, and I can make a business out of this. I bought some equipment to see if maybe it would inspire something to do it from my own home instead of paying for a studio by the hour, which is
Yeah.
incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
And I ended up buying all this equipment, but all the equipment sat here for maybe 7 to 9 months, something around there. And
Really?
my husband would be like, hey, there's equipment just sitting there, expensive equipment just sitting there. What are you going to do about this? And then I said to myself, well, I'll get to it. I'll record later. etc. And then I kept pushing it off until I met, it's so funny. We were just talking about this
Mhm.
until I met my coach, Laura, my PR person. And she just said, listen, just start recording at this point. Talk about anything.
Yeah.
And I started recording, talking about anything. And at that particular moment, I was helping a few moms out because I was part of this mom group on Facebook. And they were asking me questions about, oh, how do I create a domain name? I'm very business savvy. That's what I
Mhm.
really love to do. Like, I love behind the scenes business stuff. So then I was like, oh, I can get on a call with you. I can help you with this. I can help you set up your Instagram. I can help you put that together. That was very easy for me, right? But then that's where it came up, 9 to 5 mom with a pod. And I was like, wait, I'm a 9 to 5 mom and I have a podcast and I'm also helping other moms with their creative side hustles, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. And here it is. Wow, that was really long. I was going to make it shorter, but I couldn't. I need some practice to how to make this shorter, but that's basically how I landed here in this particular in this spot.
So I love it though. So you went from being a talent agent to working as a paralegal. So you began the podcast while you had your 9 to 5,
Yes.
hence 9 to 5 mom with a pod.
Yes.
And what made you realize, okay, I want to leave this job. I also have a toddler running around and I want to go in all in on the podcast? Because that's a big decision because
It
not all
is.
podcasts monetize.
Yes. So I didn't monetize my podcast through sponsorships. And what happened was that when I started this journey, I was still working a 9 to 5 all the way through.
Mhm.
And what I did was that I, everybody has this perception that you start a podcast, you're going to get all these deals. It's going to be like a Call Her Daddy. It's going to be like a Joe Rogan. Everything's going to be great. It's not. It's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of work. And that's why people were kind of shocked that I took that pivot because
Yeah.
they were like, wait, podcasting? That's very like difficult to kind of get into, but it's not a saturated area. It's yes, there's a ton of podcasts out there, but if you just know how to do it right, I feel like you'll be okay. So what I did was that instead of fighting with sponsorships and brand deals, I said, well, how do I make this into a business that I can profit and also be able to record it? And what I did was that I ended up centralizing my consulting platform. I sort of merged my consulting platform with 9 to 5 Mom with a Pod. So they both became one. So that when someone would see me right now and say, okay, well, I really I really want to do what she does. I want to have that mic that she has. I want to know how she got that background. It's simple as just booking me for a consultation. That's how it started.
Okay.
So then I got in with Fiverr. I just literally created an account on Fiverr about podcasting consulting. I'm very good at branding. And like I said, I really love the whole branding business
Mhm.
aspect of it. I'm just obsessed with that. And eventually I started helping other people do that. And that's how I was able to make money. So when I was making money, instead of spending the money, I was just talking about it with you.
Mhm.
I put the money back into my business instead of it going to me. So I knew that I had a 9 to 5. And yes, the extra money would have been great. But I sort of created a system in my household where I militarized our bills.
Yeah.
So everything became very military. I really honed down on reducing the expenses by over $1,000, meaning my daughter's not going to go to daycare. She's never been in daycare. She's been with me at home the whole time, even while I was working a 9 to 5 and I was doing this. So she's been at home with me. She's still at home with me, and that saves me that extra money. I reduced my car, 2 cars to 1 car. So that was, I was able to put and apply any extra funds can go back into the business. And everywhere I go, it's sort of a business mentality. It's either I spend $40 to go out to dinner or I spend $40 on Eventbrite to get leads.
Mm.
And then I sort of started that monetization process with consulting. At the same time, my email list was growing. And at the same time, if you have a really decent email list, you could get really good brands to send out emails to, and then you just sponsor them there.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I was getting affiliate partnerships because of the email list and the blogging that I already had. And that sort of generated a very decent amount of income. Now, you're not going to make full-time income. And this is where it becomes tricky. I was making part-time income, which was fine. It's livable. But then it comes to the decision of, okay, if I'm going to leave my job, that means that I'm going to have to work 3 times as hard to make that full-time income and to make the other half. So you're going to get to a place where you're going to stop in your business, right? You're going to make the part-time money and it's going to be probably consistent for the next few months. And then you have to think that, hey, your business is going to need a lot of you, just like your child needs a lot of you, your family, your kids. You have to put it together and say, well, is this the time to do it? And if it is, how am I going to plan out the next year? And what can I fall back on if something were to go south?
Mhm.
And that's what I've been doing the last few months. And thank God I haven't had the need to fall back into anything. But because I'm giving 100% of my time to it now, now you reach the full-time income, but you have to constantly be on it. It's going to be a hustle for the first few months. I'm still in it.
Oh, yeah. And I always advise my clients this too, is start while you have that paycheck coming in. Like
Yes.
start putting all the pieces together. And that's exactly what you did. Because if you had quit your job and then picked up the mic and tried to figure it out, you'd have a
Oh,
much longer runway of building this business of yours.
I would have probably been really sad and
Mhm.
given up and then gone back to another 9 to 5. But I actually told that to my husband the other day because I'm like, we're doing so well with the expenses and we're doing so well managing everything and keeping everything in house, reducing everything what we don't need. And I said, man, if I was this specific and military, like when I was working a 9 to 5, I probably would have left a lot quicker. But you know what? I never go against the universe. I think the universe just had a plan for me and this was what it was. And I'm
Yeah.
happy and I'm totally happy with it. But I was just thinking like, oh man, if I would have gone back, I probably would have just militarized my expenses because I started doing military style expenses when I realized I wanted to leave, which was a
Mhm.
month or two before I quit.
Right.
I'm like, okay, let's slash this off. We don't need this. But I wish I could have done that a year before that and I would have been way better. But a lot of people think more money in your pocket. It doesn't really go in your pocket. You should put it back into the business. And when I mean putting back to the business, advertising, leads, ads, create Facebook ads, Eventbrite ads, grow your email list. So just sort of work on that.
Mhm.
Upgrade your equipment, upgrade your mic, upgrade your lighting, upgrade your camera, your whatever. So, and then if you put money into the business, it just sort of becomes this high for you where you're like, oh man, like I'm doing really well. Like I'm upgrading my content. I'm doing
Yeah.
better and better every single day. And people will see that. People will want to be that. And then that's how you just kind of go into that radar.
While you were working and you were figuring out this plan and starting the podcast, doing all the things, you were able to almost justify that it was working and that you enjoyed it. And you were, dipping your toe in and saying, okay, I really do enjoy this and I could do this all day, which is a great thing too, rather than saying, I quit, I'm going to start this thing that looks like a shiny object over here and then find out that I don't enjoy it. So, what a great way for you to really
Yeah.
get into it, realize that, yes, I can make money from it. Now it's okay to quit and go 100%. But
Yeah.
I
And I
know
think that's
that
the
listeners are
beauty.
probably saying, how are you doing this with your toddler, your almost 3-year-old running around? Because that's a whole balance and figuring out that harmony in your house.
Don't have a secret cheat code. How do I put this? I'm very all about the household. I'm very about my daughter. Like the morning is hers. Like I spend 9 to like noon with her. We go to the park, we go to the library, we do story time, we do painting classes, we do everything. Sometimes I And I take one day a week off, even though I hate to, because
Mm-hmm.
I love to work, but I forcefully take myself like one day a week off to take her to the American Dream Mall here, and I take her
Yeah.
to the Sesame. So I spend that time with her. My husband works remote. Sometimes we switch, and if I need to go get something, he'll watch her, and then vice versa, whatever. So but the way that I do it is that because I've been doing this since the get-go, since I've had her at home since she was born, she's never done daycare.
Yeah.
I think she's used to the routine that is happening in my household because the other day I saw her I was turning on the lights like I said,
Mm-hmm.
and she went into the room. She's like, "Oh, this is it." And I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." I
Mommy's
was like,
recording. Let me go be
okay.
quiet.
Sometimes like she'll have her days where she'll, come on camera. She just wants to be like, involved in what I'm doing. But for the most part, like right now, my husband is watching her in the room and keeping her entertained, putting movies for her, playing with her, blocks, that whole thing. And it sort of gives me that hour to get anything that I need to get done, whether it's recording or being a guest in another podcast. So I take little bits of time. So I don't take, oh, I'm going to take a whole day break, a whole 8-hour break. I take breaks in like, okay, I have 20 minutes
What can I
that
get
I don't
done?
have her.
Yeah.
What can I do in these 20 minutes that I don't have her? And you sort of have to be ready for it. And that way you could feed your business with what it needs,
Yeah.
even if it's 20 minutes. That's the thing. I think that a lot of people think that you need to be sitting down for 3-4 hours at a time, just creating ideas, creating content when this is a 24/7 type of thing job. So if I think about something, I'll write it down. And when I have those 20 minutes, I'll go back to my phone and say, oh, I could do that in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I could do that in 20 minutes. So you have to play with that because kids are very unpredictable. So
For
be
sure.
flexible with it. Some people, this will trigger people. Like sometimes I said to somebody, oh, yeah, you just have to take a break. And it triggered and like, oh, well, not all of us have time to take a break. Well, okay, slow down there. There is time. Okay.
Yep.
There's nobody in this world that could tell me that there is no time. There is time because the time that you spend on social media scrolling, that's time. That's time.
Yep. 1,000%.
I'm just gonna say, I said what I said. So that's time. You think that you're spending 5 minutes on social media? No, you're spending half an hour at least
Mm-hmm.
on social media. At least. You
Yeah.
could use that half an hour of break that you call a break or whatever, or it's not a
Mm-hmm.
break. I don't know. It's still a break and put it into something that you really want to do. And then you buy yourself that time, but you just have to be mindful of it.
Yep. I love that.
Sacrifices,
It is. It is.
sacrifices.
Well, tell us about the podcast. Like, what can we hear on the podcast? What is your main focus as far as the content goes that you share?
Everything in 9 to 5 is all educational. So everything from marketing to how to grow your following. So I bring in a lot of other guests that their expertise is that. So my job is to say, okay, if I have let's say a woman entrepreneur that her topic is marketing and how to grow your email list or whatever, then that's going to be the topic of the episode. So I always, even if I don't understand what they're saying or I don't know that part of their job, I still bring them on because I'm able to ask them questions in real time and say, oh, how do you do this? Because I'm also trying to understand and learn. So if you think about it, it's also a learning process for me,
Mm-hmm.
interviewing all these sorts of different types of people with marketing experience, branding experience. At first, I think the most that I've learned in the podcast would be branding. I
Yeah.
think that became a huge shock for me because I always thought it was about, following and engagement rates and all this list of things that everybody wants to tell you that your social media looks and photos and this, but your branding. So I had a guest a long time ago. She talked all about branding. And in the beginning, I would say to myself, why would anybody listen to this?
Mhm.
But when I finished out her episode, it was actually the most watched episode.
Wow.
So you could see that even I make a mistake of saying, well, why would anybody listen to this? So at this point, I put everything out, even if you like it, don't like it, if you want to listen, don't want to listen to it, but it's all related to content creation for moms. And
Mhm.
it's a lot of the guests that I have are also moms that are entrepreneurs and doing the same thing and that they're teaching you how to do it as well.
And your listeners are women who want to, and moms who want to start a business, or they already have their businesses?
Both. So some people, you'll be shocked. Some moms are like, hey, I'm good just making extra couple $100 a month.
Mhm.
Not really interested in, creating into a business, but extra money would be nice. And it would help a lot in my household, because it depends on each person's household.
Yeah.
And then I also have other women that this is all they want to do. This is their goal. This is their dream. So then I just help them sort of reach that next step in their journey. So if they contact me about like, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I want to do. Okay, how are we going to do that?
Yeah.
So let's look at your lifestyle. It's very difficult for me to speak on different types of lifestyles. Everyone's situation is different.
Yeah.
So when they contact me directly, that's when I go, okay, let's pinpoint your exact home lifestyle, so I'm able to go around it and figure out what we can do to make that better, to make that goal happen. And
Mhm.
I think that's what I'm really good at: business, branding, just making it happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest thing, because, yeah, I think somebody can figure out how to, create their Instagram account, upload a photo, and that sort of thing. But I think the mindset, which is also another shocking thing in business that
Oh,
I came across with. Mindset is everything. I was really shocked about that. I thought, I can run a business. I could probably do that with my eyes closed. No,
mhm.
I need to be, if I'm having a really bad day, like it's just like the other day was too hot. I was too
Yeah.
tired. My daughter was throwing a tantrum. We were just not all synced up. I'm like, okay, we just need to let this day end
Yeah.
and we'll get on it tomorrow. Sometimes I'll do it on the same day, but mindset is everything when it comes to business. And it's easy to say, oh man, poor me in this situation. But in reality, if you look at a bird's eye view, this is for me specifically, if I looked at a bird's eye view of my life, there was really no excuse.
Yeah.
I should be putting in the work that I'm putting in.
It is the mindset of this is what you want to be doing now at this aspect of your life. You have the flexibility with your daughter and your husband, so it's all worth it. And like
Yeah.
you said, you enjoy work, and I do too. And I would work all day because I enjoy the
Mhm.
content that I create. I enjoy working with my clients, but there are days where I close the laptop and I say,
Yeah.
okay, like let's just step away. This will be here tomorrow. That's why we're the
Yep.
boss. But it's that mindset of knowing and I guess listening to your internal self and saying, okay, I do need a break.
No mom out there has it easy. Not one mom has it easy. We all have our own stories. We're all going through something. But can we do something for ourselves? Yes.
Hmm.
Can we create a business? Sure.
Yeah.
I had somebody ask me, well, how did you get all these speaking gigs? I asked. The secret is to ask, is to put yourself out there. Some people are going to say no. Sure.
Right.
They're gonna say no. You just move on, get to the next person, say, "Hey, would you mind if I speak on this particular thing?" Maybe they'll say no again. Okay, next person. "Hey,
Yeah.
would you mind if I speak on this event?" Yes. Okay, great. And then again, mindset.
Mindset.
So you think it's like the act of doing it, but the act of doing is the mindset part. So
Do you feel like the experience you have from working as a talent agent, working as a paralegal, you've taken some experience and skills from those career paths and brought those into your life as an entrepreneur and podcaster now and a speaker?
yeah, 100%. It's funny because I think Kris Jenner had one of those episodes. She was doing an interview and they asked her the same question. And because they were like, oh, she was talking about herself being a flight attendant and
Mhm.
how that helped her in this career. And you would think, a flight attendant, what does the flight attendant have to do with what you're doing now?
Yeah.
But she actually learned a lot about respect, customer service, hierarchies in positions and all this other things. And then I said to myself, you know what? That's a well said thing. I said, that's a great response, because now that I think about it, and then it made me think about myself, everything that I've done, from working at a McDonald's, I worked at a McDonald's when I was in high school. And then I worked for a talent agency before I became a talent agent. And that's how I got licensed to be with them. And then it just sort of all built up to where I am today. So I've been in admin jobs, I've been in accounts receivable jobs, I've been receptionist, I've been executive assistant, talent agent, a paralegal. I've been all of that, and all of that has shown me. So accounts receivable, that's why I'm really good with business and finances, because I already know how to use that. As far as businesses, I've worked with a ton of businesses, so I've seen how they run it. And I've always been fascinated in running my own business.
Mm-hmm.
So every little nugget for every little experience, even the one working at McDonald's just really taught me how to be really great with people. I was a cashier. Either you're the cashier that day or you do fries. It doesn't matter. You learn something from every single position. And now looking back, yes, every little thing that I've done has definitely led to this. Like sales is a very big thing. I learned sales at the talent agency, believe it or not. You have to sell your client. You have to sell them. They're the best. They're
Mm-hmm.
number one. This is what they need. And I remember I had a whole sales training with that boss at that particular moment. And I would think to myself, this is so ridiculous. Why would I need to know about sales?
Yeah.
Even up until now. And now I'm like, oh, now I'm using sales for my own business because, yes, I'm consulting. It's a consulting platform, but consulting platforms are a sales business,
Yeah.
and podcasting is also a sales business. I'm trying to have you listen to my podcast. So it just sort of shows.
It all comes together. I love
I
talking
never
about
that.
that thread that just like comes all the way and brings you where you're meant to be, where you feel like everything you've done up until this point is aligned, and it's aligned now with you as a mom
Yeah.
with your daughter. So it's brought you to a
I
good
think
place.
my daughter taught me a lot about resilience.
Oh,
I'm not back in my 20s, all the way to my 30s, before I had my daughter, I was just, whenever somebody says, you just have to be patient, you just have to wait, I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about? Get out of my face. I need this now. But when I had my daughter, you learn a lot about resilience, which is important in business because there's going to be a lot of down moments where you're going to be rejected. And again, I'm not talking about rejection like, oh, they're going to say something mean to you. It's just going to be a no. Oh, we're not interested right now. That's not what we're trying to work on right now. That's not our goal right now. But it still stings because you're like, man, it just feels like a down, like a failure.
yeah.
But resilience is so important because that way, and she's taught me that because she's taught me even herself, she falls 100 times a day. And every time she falls, I'm like, I freak out. And she's like, she gets up, she just brushes it off, and then and like it never happened, and she'll forget about it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So she'll give you a heart attack, yes, but she'll also teach you about resilience. And it just showed me that, like, man, she gets up every single time. So why can't I do that?
Mm, I love
It's
it.
children will change your life.
They do. Oh my gosh, your life, your work, your
Everything.
business, your future. Yeah. And in the best way, in the
Yeah,
absolute
no, and
best
that, literally,
way.
there's no better way. If you need training, train with your child.
Yeah.
Train with your child. You know what? That should be a training. Just train with your child.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Well, where can everyone listen to you and connect? Social media, your podcast, everything. Tell us where my listeners can follow along, Fran.
I have my website, 9 to 5 Mom with a Pod. It has all my links there. So 9 to 5 momwithapod.com. But you can also find 9 to 5 Mom with a Pod on Apple. And you can also find me on Instagram. They're all the same username, 9 to 5 Mom with a Pod. The episodes are listed there. My blogs is on my website, and then I'm on social. Right now I'm on Instagram. That's like my main platform. I'm usually not anywhere else but there. And that's where you can get it.
Fantastic. Well, we could talk all day, but I
I
know
know.
that she's waiting for you in the other room
I
and that you
hear her.
well, thank you so much for sharing. I think your story is so inspirational, and
Oh,
especially
thank
the
you.
idea of really creating a podcast that is not just recording episodes, but it's connecting people and having your consulting side of the business and just really finding a way to monetize it that's not what we all think in the
Yes.
sponsorships and all of that, that you're doing it in a very unique way that is perfect for you and your talents and your skills. So,
And to add to that, just to give everybody a little bit of closure before we close, just know that I have 2,200 followers on Instagram. It's a small community, and I was still able to monetize this. So you don't need to go viral. If that's because that's my fear. My fear is to go viral. Watch it happen. Oh my gosh, I have to stop talking about it. I'm not going to go against the universe, but going viral is not really the key. You could go viral, but that doesn't mean you're monetizing. So all I'm saying is that you can have a community, you can have a brand, and you can monetize with as little as 2,000 followers.
Yeah.
That's your community.
Great advice. Oh, Fran, thank you so much. I can't wait to see your community and your brand keep on
Thank
growing.
you.
And I'm
You
so happy we're
too.
connected. Thank you.
Let's finally do that lunch we've been saying we're going to do.
We will do it. We will do it. Thank you for joining us. I hope you found some gems of inspiration and some takeaways to help you on your path to second act success. To view show notes from this episode, visit secondactsuccess.co. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. Reviews only take a few moments and they really do mean so much. Thank you again for listening. I'm Shannon Russell, and this is Second Act Success.